Europe needs to stand united in negotiations to stop Moscow's all-out war in Ukraine, Zelensky said following a meeting with von der Leyen in Brussels.
5 people were killed and 11 others were injured after Russia launched a barrage of missiles and drones targeting Ukrainian cities overnight into Sunday. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky urged for European unity on Sunday as he warned of Russia's unwavering anti-European strategy. The Ukrainian leader made those comments in a joint press conference with European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen in Brussels on Sunday after a bilateral meeting. Zelensky says Russian President Vladimir Putin has to stop the killings in order for a real peace process to take place. Commenting on the Russian leader's demands to end the war following his meeting with U.S. President Donald Trump in Alaska on Friday, Zelensky said, quote, "Putin has many demands. We don't know all of them." Zelensky added that it will take time to go through Putin's demands, suggesting that a pause in fighting on the current front lines is necessary for negotiations to advance. Von der Leyen further cemented Europe's commitment to Ukraine's peace and stability. The Commission president stressed that international borders cannot be changed by force and pledged continued EU support to Kyiv for as long as it takes. It comes on the eve of Zelensky's trip to Washington, where he will be meeting with Trump in the White House. Von der Leyen and a slew of other European leaders, including Giorgia Meloni, Emmanuel Macron, Friedrich Merz, and Keir Starmer, will be accompanying Zelensky at the Ukrainian leader's request. After the meeting, Zelensky and von der Leyen connected on a call with Macron, Starmer, and Merz for a virtual meeting of the Coalition of the Willing. At least 5 people were killed and 11 others were injured as Russia continues to pummel Ukrainian cities. Ukraine's air forces say the Kremlin launched a ballistic missile and a barrage of more than 60 Iranian-made Shahed drones targeting several cities overnight into Sunday. Air defense personnel say Kyiv has successfully shot down or suppressed over 40 drones aerially, which were headed towards targets in the country's north and east. In Donetsk, in the Donbass region, 5 people were killed as Russia intensified its campaign there. Regional Governor Vadim Filashkin says at least 4 others were injured in the strikes. In Kherson, 2 people were injured as Russia carried out drone and artillery strikes on at least 30 settlements in the region. 5 more were wounded in Kharkiv, with local officials saying the city was subjected to an array of missiles, drones, and guided bombs. Many buildings and critical infrastructure were destroyed, which officials say were civilian in nature.
"38 people were arrested in Israel during nationwide protests, where demonstrators demanded their government strike a deal for the release of hostages in Gaza. Protesters gathered at dozens of points across Israel, including outside politicians' homes, military headquarters, and on major highways. Police used water cannons to disperse them as they blocked the roads. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has previously demanded the immediate release of hostages, but is balancing the threat of mutiny from within his coalition. Far-right members of his cabinet say they won't support any deal that allows Hamas to remain in power. Netanyahu said one of Israel's conditions for ending the war is what he described as Israel's security control over Gaza, something that has drawn international condemnation. Within the enclave, international aid continues to be airdropped, though humanitarian groups warn it is not enough. Hospitals in Gaza say at least 17 aid seekers were killed by Israeli forces on Sunday, including 9 waiting for aid trucks. Thousands of emergency personnel battled wildfires gripping Spain and Portugal as a heat wave continues to ravage the Iberian Peninsula. High temperatures have sparked a wave of fires that are of particular concern in Galicia, Leon and Cáceres. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez visited the affected regions, meeting with emergency teams and saying that the next few days would be critical. The wildfires have already reportedly burned over 115,000 hectares of land, including more than 50,000 in Galicia alone. Neighbouring Portugal, around 3,200 firefighters battled 9 major fires over the weekend. Mainland Portugal has been affected by multiple fires since July. High temperatures have led to the declaration of a state of alert, which remains in effect. The Portuguese government requested assistance from the EU Civil Protection Mechanism, a firefighting force that European countries in need can call upon.